In this story, we're going to meet a young boy who has a special connection with dandelions. In a world where the sun always shone, where the birds always sang and the flowers always bloomed, there lived a little boy named Deniel. Now, Deniel loved everything about nature. He loved how the leaves crunched under his feet in autumn, how the snow felt soft and cold in his hands in winter. They were little balls of sunshine, bright yellow and full of cheer, just like Deniel, and whenever he saw them, he couldn't help but smile. For some reason, they reminded him of faraway lands, of adventures yet to be had, and of laughter echoing through the ages. How the flowers smelled sweet in the meadow in summer, and how the raindrops felt cool on his skin when it rained. The dandelion hadn't just danced once, it had danced its whole life. A continuous flow of motion that was both beautiful and inspiring to behold. As Deniel watched, he felt a sense of wonder and awe. He realized that the dandelions weren't just flowers, they were dancers. Dancers who had dedicated their lives to the art of movement. From the moment it had sprouted from the ground until now, it had been dancing, swaying and twirling in the wind, celebrating its existence. He would dance with them, not by moving his feet or arms, but with his heart. Some were graceful and elegant, while others were wild and free. He carried the joy and wonder he had experienced in the meadow with him wherever he went. He was older now, with lines on his face and gray in his hair, but his eyes still held the same wonder and his heart still beat with the same joy. As he stepped into the meadow, he saw the dancing dandelions. With a big smile on his face and a song in his heart, he took off his shoes and socks, lay down in the grass and started to roll around in the meadow, laughing and cheering like a child. He rolled and tumbled until he reached a patch of dandelions, and there he stopped. Looking up at the sky, he saw a single dandelion seed floating above him, dancing on the breeze. They were just as beautiful and inspiring as he remembered. If you enjoyed this tale, I invite you to subscribe, so you won't miss any of my future stories. And if you have a story of your own that you'd like to share, please do. Who knows? Maybe one day your story will be shared with the entire world. Until then, take care and goodbye. Deniel watched as the seed drifted further and further away, taking with it the laughter and cheer of the meadow. And when it was out of sight, he closed his eyes and whispered, "Thank you. Thank you for the dance. Thank you for the joy. And thank you for reminding me that no matter what, life is beautiful." And whenever he felt down or needed a reminder of the beauty in the world, he would close his eyes and remember the dance. Some danced slowly and steadily, while others danced quickly and playfully. And Deniel loved them all. He would dance with his emotions, expressing his joy and wonder through the language of feelings. And when it had broken free as a seed, it had carried on the dance, floating and turning until it found a new patch of earth to grow on. But most of all, he loved the dandelions that grew near his home. The dandelions would always be there dancing in the meadow, reminding him of the simple pleasures in life, and the magic that happens when you follow your heart. There were many kinds of flowers in the meadows near Deniel's home, but none were as special as the dandelions. One day, while playing in the meadow, Deniel noticed something strange. The dandelions seemed to be dancing. As he danced, he felt lighter and happier than he had ever felt before. Let us all find our own patches of sunshine in this world and dance in them with all our hearts. For that is where the true meaning of life lies, in the dance of the dandelions. Deniel continued to dance, his heart soaring with the birds, his feet rooted to the earth, his laughter echoing through the ages, and his love for the dancing dandelions filling his soul. He was no longer just a boy watching flowers. He was a part of the meadow, a part of the dance, a part of nature. He would spend hours watching them, learning from them, and dancing with them. He learned that the dandelions didn't just dance for his amusement. They danced because it was in their nature to do so. They danced because they loved to dance. At first, he thought it was just his imagination, but the more he watched, the more convinced he became that the flowers were indeed moving to the rhythm of an unseen melody. And as it floated, it twirled and turned in the air, dancing on the breeze like a tiny ballerina. Seeing this, Deniel felt a pang of sadness. He didn't want the dancing to end. He wanted to watch them forever. Excited, Deniel ran closer to get a better look. The dandelion that had floated away landed on the ground a short distance from him and began to dance again, this time with even more vigor and grace. Deniel couldn't believe his eyes. It was as if the flower had come back to life, rejuvenated and more spirited than before. As he approached, the dancing became more lively, as if the flowers were putting on a special performance just for him. As he stood there watching, completely mesmerized by their beauty, a sudden gust of wind caused one of the dandelions to break free from its stem and float away as a seed. But then something magical happened. And then he understood. And so the dancing went on, never ending, never changing. He wanted to join them, to become part of their dance. But he didn't know how. Then suddenly, an idea struck him. And so Deniel began to dance, not as a human, but as a flower, swaying and twirling like the dandelion, feeling the wind beneath him and the sun above him, laughing and cheering with the birds, and smelling the sweetness of the meadow all around him. And as the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, from that day on, Deniel continued to visit the dancing dandelions whenever he could. He also learned that each dandelion had a unique way of dancing. As the seasons passed, Deniel grew older, but his love for the dancing dandelions never faded. One day, many years later, Deniel returned to the meadow, and as he watched them, he smiled. He knew that no matter how old he got or how much time passed, then Deniel did something very unexpected, and as it floated, it twirled and turned, as if it were dancing for him alone. So let us all be like Deniel, who found happiness in the simplest of things, and who never lost his sense of wonder and joy. The end. Thank you for listening to the story of Deniel and the Dancing